As world leaders work to negotiate a ceasefire in the war between Israel and Hezbollah, a group of Jewish and Arab Americans met in Washington to discuss their own ideas about the war in the Middle East.
The Peace Cafe is a venue that brings Arabs and Jews and all those interested in a lasting peace in the Middle East to come together to discuss and sort of work through the layers of historical context that we all are born with in this conflict. Just to sort of get started, I want everyone to lower your expectations. We're not going to have a ceasefire after this conversation that we're going to have. We don't have the power to do that. All we can do is have the power to have a ceasefire within our soul.
What brought you specifically here today?
The reason I'm here is because I want to try to understand the broader meaning of what's going on right now, not only in Lebanon, but
I think the people that come to the Peace Cafe obviously are in a very luxurious situation. They're away from the conflict. They may have relatives, they may have family, they may care about it deeply, and that's why they come. But they certainly have the luxury to be able to sit and debate it. For those that having bombs dropped on them, it's not the same. The humanity of the other is limited by their ability to survive.
I feel very embarrassed that Israel is pursuing such an aggressive policy right now, and I think that they are getting a lot of criticism in the rest of the world. But I also feel that Israel is doing this because they don't feel that the rest of the world will protect them, has protected them in the past, if they didn't use their military might.
Although there are Jewish Americans who support Israel's actions against Hezbollah, those who spoke during this session agree with Bob Griss, a Jewish American.
I do identify very much with the cultural traditions of defending the underdog and trying to create a more peaceful world. And that has guided my life decisions, my work decisions. And so when Israel is involved in a conflict and uses its military superiority to compel, to impose itself, I feel that it's my responsibility as a Jew and as an American, especially as an American, because I feel America is doing this even more than Israel is doing it, to challenge the legitimacy of this approach.
What Israel is doing today is sentencing Israel to further bloodshed and violence for decades to come.
George Goreyev is on the board of the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee. He also organizes weekend-long retreats for Arab and Jewish Americans.
I was born and raised in Paterson, New Jersey. My father was born in Lebanon from a Maronite Catholic family. And my mother's family is from Aleppo, Syria, from a Syrian Orthodox family. So I'm Christian on both sides. Let's assume for a second that Israel could somehow magically eliminate every single supporter of Hezbollah tomorrow morning. Well, what would the long-term result of that be? All of those deaths would still leave behind family members, sons and daughters, who will ultimately grow up with more hatred and more rage in their hearts than their fathers had. All you are doing is setting a time bomb that will go off sometime in the future. We've seen that happen time and time again. Key to the solution, coming back to your question, is getting the American Jewish community to realize that making meaningful concessions, compelling Israel to withdraw from the occupied territories, basically following the peace plan outlined in Oslo some years ago, will ultimately lead to safety, security, and peace for Israeli Jews, which is what the American Jewish community ultimately wants. And it is only them, in my opinion, the American Jewish community, that can get Congress to act in a responsible way.
As an American, I'm concerned about the one-front war, and whether it's true or not that Israel is a proxy for the United States. The fact that people believe that is a problem.
My name is Lee Diamond. I'm American. I'm Jewish. Basically, since 9/11, the cynic in me thinks that Ariel Sharon saw an opportunity to blend Israel's conflict with the United States' conflict with Al-Qaeda and other organizations. Now we have this conflict that becomes, I don't know, the United States and Israel versus the rest of the world, or most of the rest of the world. I don't think is a good thing. I mean, I think it benefits the extremists to have an us against them kind of mentality.
Are interested in doing that?
Although there are Arab Americans who criticize Hezbollah for hindering Lebanon's plight towards democracy, the main concern during this session, which occurred the morning after the Qana bombings, was Israel's overwhelming use of force. It's resulted in more than 700 Lebanese civilian deaths, a fact that Israel says it regrets, while insisting it must use force to defend its people from Hezbollah. As of August 13th, 121 Israeli civilians and 83 soldiers have been killed by Hezbollah attacks.
Most of the Jews that came were in agreement for the most part with the Palestinians and the Arabs and the Muslims that came. Those who felt that Israel had every right to do what they did in response to what Hezbollah did, I think their voices were not heard. They were silenced.
What I'm saying is this is not helping me as an American. This is making me more afraid, more scared, and I don't know what's coming down the road. And we need to work somehow, even if it's a simple thing, work together. It's great to come here and have coffee, and sometimes we dance and all this stuff, but let's do something substantial.
Jamal Najab is a reporter at the Washington Report on Middle East Affairs.
I was born in Warren, Arkansas. I guess I'm a Muslim. My father was Muslim, my mother is Quaker, my grandmother was Southern Baptist, and all three of them had a very important effect on me. So I get very frustrated and I get very upset because I want to see more. I want to see it to move further than just sitting and eating bread together and dancing, as some people like to do there. I'd really like to see them have something substantial to help solve the problem, to promote peace.
There are many, many bad things going on right now, and right now I have a very personal interest. My brother is being bombed, and there are many people who are being bombed now, but I've been speaking to him off and on for the past couple of weeks. He's in Namaria.
One of the ladies there, who I've known for almost 20 years, Jewish American, very nice lady. She at the Peace Cafe was telling all of us that her brother is in a kibbutz in northern Israel, and she's concerned that something's going to happen to him. Well, that was Sunday. Now, Wednesday, he's riding his bicycle, and one of the missiles came down from Hezbollah, one of the ones that we supposedly were fired from Hezbollah, and he was killed, which it's just, see, that's one of the things maybe that is a good thing about the Peace Cafe, because it's not just some man on a bicycle, it's Judah's brother that died.